Mine expanded. No, I'm trained to go. What's going on? So I'm in a trade right now that I kind of want to explain. I'm gonna start from the monthly because I feel like that's where we should start to understand the reason why I'm doing what I'm doing. And so to start off, we got to understand like we got a high right here that pushed down to this low. What low did it break? It broke this low. That's our low that it broke right there. And so I'm gonna start off by highlighting everything. I color code everything. I stopped doing this for a while because I felt like it was a lot of work, but it visually helps me see what's on the chart so I don't fuck up and make decisions that I shouldn't really be making. So the first thing to know is there's external structure and there's internal structure. And right now we are dealing with on the monthly time frame, this is external because we are clearly breaking points like, okay, let's see, we had from here to here, it pushed all the way up to here. Then we came down to this, we pulled back, we continued down, we went internally bullish for a second, and we ended up closing back below it right here, going internally bearish, which is the reason for this retracement. Price did retrace and then went internally bullish again, but then the continuation failed. We tried to continue, we made equal highs and we broke and went right back bearish. So entry below a failure and a bearish entry short in a under a low in a bearish structure, because this was the overall structure. It was this bearish one, then we had an internal bearish one, then we had a internal bullish inside of an internal bearish, and then it failed. So that's like super good for a big drop down. Then we have our we never closed above this, so this is our pullback continuation down that failed, making an equal low. And then price went internally bullish. The internal bullish happened here, it continued internally bullish, and then it broke down bearish, right? Yeah, it broke down bearish right here, continued, and it just is going back and forth, bro. But at the same time, we really only care about see another internal bullish, and then the continuation failed, giving us the new bearish push down. Same thing that happened right here, and that's literally the same thing that looks like it's trying to do right here. It was pushing up, it came down, it pushed up, it's failing to go up, and if we break this low, it's probably going to start crashing. And so what I see is externally we're bearish in this, but if we zoom in and zoom out, we do have to pay attention to the fact that internally, not internally, externally, we're in this big bullish push. All of this is a retracement, but that doesn't mean we can't follow it. So now that we see what the monthly is doing, and there's a supply zone up here, something that doesn't really matter that much because we can just go based off of just structure. I'm gonna go down to the daily. Here on the daily, what I'm noticing is, let's go back to the monthly, bro. I'm gonna highlight this whole thing. Probably I don't highlight my retracements, and the retracement started because before I would have said that this was the high because that's where price pushed up to the highest point before it started dropping. But I'm focusing on candle closures too, right? And so this bullish candle closed above, like we closed below this bullish candle. This bullish candle closed above this one, so that made this a high. Then when this bullish candle got closed below, that means that it's starting to make a low, but we closed back above this, so this becomes a higher low because it's higher than the last one. And then we make a higher high, and then we make a higher low because we close below this candle that has the highest high on it. And then we come up here, we close above that, and we start to try to make a higher high. It's a continuation, it fails, and price turns around, breaking below this, making a lower high. And then we break the higher low that we made from a lower high and made a lower low. So that's the reason why this to this is the range that we're working in. This is our not continuation, our retracement. We know the retracement started because we closed below this bearish candle with this bearish candle, and then we close above that one with this bullish candle, signaling to me not a swing point, a pivot point, or a low in the market. It's a low in the market. So then price pushes up. We're in this bullish candles range. So we close above here, above here, above here. Now we're in this bullish candles range. We close above it, and then we close below the new range that we were dealing with, making this what? A lower high because it's lower than the previous one. And then Price tries to close outside of this, it couldn't. This failed, and price continued down. So now we can highlight our continuation, which would have been from here to here. If we draw this into the future, price did reach up, so we have to move that, and then it pushed down to this uh before it was able to come up here and close above this bearish candle and make a new. This was a lower high, and now this is a higher low. Closing above this made this low higher than this one, and it starts to push up, but it fails. And all of that, let me change this to my failure color. All of that is happening inside of this range. So now that price has already tried to push down, I can only really deal with anything once. If I want to take buys, I can't take buys right now. I gotta wait for this candle right here to print. Otherwise, I can only take shorts. This is a monthly chart, so don't get me wrong. There are some times in here where you can do that, but if this is just how I trade, is on the I use the daily, the 1 hour, and the 5 minute. If the 5 minute does this, I'm not gonna go in there and try to take buys. If the hourly does this, there's a chance you could catch some 5 minute buys, but you see how all the buys are short lived, and then we come down here and take this out. So this continuation failed, and it started making highs and lows, right? I'm gonna highlight the highs and lows. It made a high that got extended to here. So this high got extended to here. Then it came down here and it made a low. Then we closed above this and we made a lower high because it's lower than this one. Then we made a higher low because it's higher than this one. And then we closed above. No, we never even closed above here. So we made equal highs. So we're just gonna draw a line to say equal highs. The industry could cancel me. I can't be who I'm not. All right. And now we broke the higher low, creating a high and a low. This low is higher than this one, but it came after a previous higher low. So now it is a lower low. You know what I'm saying? So it's a lower low. But then from there, we have this internal bullish push. This continuation down also failed, and you can kind of guess that it's going to fail because we closed below here. I play death. Nowadays, you gotta put niggas to the test. How is you my brother when you saying you gonna niggas shot me in my neck and you left 5 in my chest? No one around. I can picture none but you holding me down. There was nobody, nobody, nobody. Trauma in my head, but I smile for the flicks. Mama hurt, knowing my life wild as a bitch. I spent 100,000 for this chain bus. They're going wild for the. That's the reason why they hate me. All right, I got too caught up in this song, but this is internally bullish now, right? And the reason why is because this high right here, this is not even the high that I care about anymore. It's this one, and we just crossed it, and now if we are able to come back under this and then start trending back above it, we can probably buy at least to like right here because we have our internal points. But this is internally bullish inside of a externally bearish. So if anything, the shorts that I'm taking right now is actually playing out. And I am in a prop firm challenge. So I'm actually trading this on a prop firm demo. I don't even like to say demo because at the end of the day, it's a prop firm account. So they start you off with a demo. So I'm still in the challenge phase. But anyway, what I was saying is down here, we close below this candle, but we don't technically actually close below it. We open below it with this bullish candle. But in order for this candle to open right here, the previous one had to close right there is the mindset that I go with. So basically, this is how I see the bearish candle. Bearish. Like it closed right here, right? And so I'm using this candle's range to see where highs and lows are made. And right there, we get a closure above. So that makes this a low. And like I said, from there, we push up and make a higher high. Now, this is still the monthly chart. We have a few days, 13 days left to see if this is where, price is going to end off on, but we don't know. So we could be right. We could be wrong. We're just tracking highs and lows right now. And so from here, all I could do left is go to the daily. On the daily, what we could do is follow the trend, but the most recent push, you can clearly see there's a peak right here. There's a valley right here. We can investigate those. We broke above this peak. Was there another peak that mattered? Was there a valley? There's a valley right here up to a peak that came down, failed to continue, went bearish, and then started to continue bearish. So I'm not even going to go over that. What I see right here is that price pushed down and pushed up above this high right here. So this low, I'm going to just draw it in from here to here, was a bullish impulse, and that's what created the highest high that we see on the last time frame we were on. So this is externally bullish, and we know it's externally bullish because the internal part is this right here where we started to go up, we came down, we started to go up, and then we came down and broke this low. This is now externally bearish from here. Oh, it was internally bearish from here to here at first, but it kept on pushing down, so now it's down to this low is where this push took us, and it broke this external point. And so now if we follow this just candle by candle, just so we can see it real quick, we have this candle's low got crossed and opened below on this bullish candle, which means this bearish candle is the one that actually closed down there. We pushed up and started closing up. Now, the way we could have gotten in this is something that I actually didn't go over. I noticed it, but this is a bullish impulse right here. Inside of this bullish impulse, we can clearly see that we close below this candle with this one. We close above this candle with the gray one, and we keep on closing above these candles. And these little dojis are just like getting beat up and trying to push up and getting pushed back down, but the bulls is able to push up. Bulls are able to continue to push up. What you see here is basically internal price action on a lower time frame happening between these points, but then price is able to push up. Price is able to push up some more. We have like a few candles printed inside of there, but at the end of the day, we're able to push up, and we finally get our pullback started right there. And then we have our continuation. Price is just continuing down more and more and more. And now we have this right here. The continuation is where price flips the momentum back to the opposite way. And it tried to continue up right there. It failed because the bullish candle that closed above this bearish candle got closed below in like the next candle, right? So if we would have bought this with a stop low, right, stop low with a stop loss right here, that wouldn't have been wrong, but I mean it would have resulted in a loss, and that's okay. So the loss would have looked something like this, hopefully, with a stop loss right there and a target up here at the 1 hour high. That's what the idea would have been. And then what that did for us by doing that is this high came down and made a higher low. And then once we closed below this candle, that was a lower high because it's lower than this one. And it made a lower low. So now we're shifted into a internally bearish move. This is internal bearish because it's happening in the range of this external bearish. And you can see the external bullish ranges are also continuing price in the sense of push up, pull back to that low, push up, wanted to see a pullback as low as this and a push up, but it's already failed. So let's continue following this. We can see these candles clearly push all the way up to here with this big bullish candle. We close below it. That's the beginning of the pullback. We continue. We don't close below this candle, but we close above it, making this our higher low. Higher low right there. We close below this, making this our lower high because it's lower than the previous one. Higher low right there because it's higher than the previous one. So now we're starting to push up. We made our higher low, our lower high, and now we're like, okay, lower highs tend to break higher lows or break lows. This is a low. Price came down and broke it. But before it broke, we have let's see, we have this break right there. Break, bro. I just want to draw a straight line. I know it clearly broke right there. It broke right here, and now we're in the range of this bearish candle, and this bearish candle has a bullish candle closure above it right there. So now if we close below this candle, this will become a lower high. So once we close above this bearish candle, this became another low. Now it didn't close below. Did we close below that? Once we close above this, this becomes the low. And so we just held on to this. We didn't actually close below it. And the reason why it's not this candle's low is, like I said, once we close above that candle, I have to give structure the lowest low that was created before the shift. Before this bullish candle closed above this candle, this low right here existed. So I have to say it's this one. We did not close above this. I mean, below this at this point. But once we made this little pullback, this is still a low right here. It's just a low. It's not really an important low, but it was responsible for creating this lower high after we closed below this because it also shifted structure below this whole thing internally. So now we have this push from this high all the way down to this low, and that broke an external point as well. You got to pay attention to all these different moving parts, right? So this is the daily on time frame. We just shifted below that externally. The protected points got broken, so that's not bearish candle. This is externally bearish. And so now that we're externally bearish on the daily, I know that this is more than likely a 1 hour downtrend right here, a 1 hour pullback, and it's starting to continue toward the downside. So now I go to the 1 hour to read it. And so at the low down here, I really just want to see where the pivots are, right? So we have not regular pivot points because I look at pivot point stuff sometimes and it don't really show me what I'm looking for. And so 1 hour, 1 hour, 1 hour, 1 hour, 4 hours. So we have this right here, this high pushed down to this low. Price pulled back and it tried to continue down. So this continuation right here failed. And we could have kind of guessed that this continuation was going to fail after we closed above this candle. Is it that candle? Let's see. So we closed above here, making this the low. We pushed up all the way to this candle. We closed below this candle, making this a lower high. We want to get into a short right there with a stop loss in this area, or even I like to put my stop loss above the candle's high that's closest to the high that I'm entering on, right? So if I'm entering here, draw a line this way. What's the closest high to that? It's this one, the high of this candle. So that's what I would have done, and then you get taken out, and that is okay because we're still in this overall bearish push. So something could happen where price tries to continue up and it fails below, and that's a good entry for a short too. And so anyway, we continue through this all the way up to this high, and we make this externally bullish 1 hour move, which is externally bullish. Well, I keep doing the opposite. I always do that shit. So look, now that created from this low, we created a high. The high is created after we close below this candle. And so um once we close above or outside of this candle's range, that will determine whether we have a high or if the pullback is still happening. I mean, if we have a low or the pullback is still happening. We closed above this point. This lowest low before this candle is broken becomes our protected low now, or just higher low. This low is our higher low because it's higher than the previous one. This is a higher high because it's higher than this previous one and this previous one. And from there, we just follow the bullish succession of candle closures. Just keep pushing, pushing. We don't have any bearish closures. We get all the way up to this high, and then we push here, and then all of a sudden we get a closure below this candle. We get a closure below this candle right there. Good closure. Pullback started. Pullback is over once we close above that candle, and that's the continuation. But what happened to the continuation after this candle came down and like wrecked this low? The continuation failed. So I'm gonna put this in as a failure. Now, granted, we are still in this bullish box. There is a demand zone right here. And my problem with this is so many people are sitting here looking at this like, yeah, we got this bullish on the 1 hour. We got this demand zone. Let's do this. It just hit our 50%. Let's turn on our midpoint. It just hit our 50%. It's wanting to go crazy from there. But now if we go to the lower time frame, I guarantee you it's still bearish on the 5 minute. But this is our internally bearish move. So the momentum is more stacked toward the bearish side. And so now let's go to the 5 minute, and we can see from here. The 5 minute was bearish. This is the trend on the 5 minute. That's not even a pullback. So I gotta be careful with what I'm showing y'all. This is a pullback and break of structure. It is a pullback that turned into a break of structure. So I really want to see price. I wanted to see price pull back to here. I got involved in this around right before news. And so because price has already left this area, came back and hung out up here, I also gave it this area too. Never know. Oh, forever my bro. I did shit for niggas that I'd rather not show. And so I kind of was scared to put my stop loss above this because I know how price get down, bro. Like sometimes it'll reach in here and then continue. And so what I saw is that price did start a retracement. It tried to continue down, made a higher low because the retracement failed. And then it also didn't close above this point either. It rejected, making another higher low right here because we closed above that, right? So it pulled back, it made equal highs, a higher low, and then it failed and it made a lower low inside of this. And so my entry is literally right around here. I didn't enter on this candle. I entered on this candle because I was late, but still relatively the same entry area. Stop loss. A lot of people would have put their stop losses like right here at this high. I put my stop loss above this high because, like I said, I didn't know if price was going to reach into this. I would have been good at this high because this was the push up, push down, and then would take out this one. But this high right here should have been safe, and it was safe. I just was being extra safe and put my stop loss even further. So, like I said, higher low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. Between these internal range, price pulls back, and now we have this big external 5 minute, external 5 minute bearish. External bearish on the 5 minute. And all I can do right now is the pullback has started on the 5 minute. That does not mean that it's time to get into no buys because, like I've been showing y'all this whole time, price can come down here and take out this low and just continue and make this right here our new 5 minute lower high. So let's go over here. Yeah, I'm actually doing pretty good on this position. I want to see price hit this 1 to 3 area right here first, before I am interested. I'm gonna let me know when price gets back to this low. Yeah, I'm just letting this one rock out. It is in that demand zone though, from the 1 hour. So I'm gonna just watch it heavy. I should probably just go break even now and leave it alone. It's already 340. I have a feeling that this low is not gonna hold and price is going to take it out. But if it does hold, it still makes sense because technically to be taking shorts the way we are, the way I'm holding it, I should have waited for this low to break. Let the 5 minute continue down, let the 5 minute retrace, and when the 5 minute goes bearish, then I should be taking a short to this low. So right now I am in a little bit early, but for a short at least to be holding it. So I don't know what's gonna happen, but I hope y'all enjoyed this one. If y'all got questions, just let me know. Um, damn, I should have, if I would have put my stop loss a little bit tighter, I could have gotten my 1 to 3 already, but I just was being extra safe, bro. So we got that right there. Not stop loss there. Stop loss like right here. 1 to 3. No, I still wouldn't be at 1 to 3. Fuck it. I'm gonna just let it play out. Cause like I said, it could turn around. It could pull back. I don't know what's about to happen, but I know I'm following it right for right now. The only thing I can think of that would make me get out the trade early would be if price does this. It comes up here, it makes a pullback, and then it goes down and makes a higher low and comes up and breaks this. I might go ahead and be like, all right, bet, because we're already in a 1 hour bullish range. So then when the 5 minute comes down, if it's able to break, not even break, bro, but if it's just able to come down and then come up, fail to continue down and break a high, that's kind of putting us in this new bullish range. Even though it's inside of this bearish range is internal and the external points are already bullish. So if a high starts to get broken, that's a bullish signal inside of a big ass bullish range. So it could do this and then just continue up and break this high. I don't want to wait on that because my high that I need to be broken is up here in my, in my stop loss area anyway, and I'm not going to give all that back. So if price makes a lower high, if it comes up here and makes a lower high, oh, I did gave y'all a bullish example when I'm talking about something bearish. What I was saying is, yeah. Price is bullish on the 1 hour, comes down. It is bearish on the 5 minute. And so if price comes up here and tries to continue this bearish retracement of the 1 hour, but instead comes up and breaks a high, which is exactly what I drew out right here. I'm thinking that yeah, I might I might just leave it alone and get out the trade early. But I'm trying to do better with not getting out my positions early because I regret it all the time. But hope y'all enjoyed it. Hope you have a good one. And let me know if you got something to say. If you got something to say. No, I'm talking shit. But let me know if you got something to say for real.